Oh, hold on. And then we can go here. We'll turn noise suppression on because I got my AC. For some reason, it's getting hot even in mid-September. How's it going, everybody? Supra, what's up, dude? How you doing? Give me 1 second. I gotta switch out of 4K before I forget. There we go. That way the camera doesn't overheat. Oh, let me go ahead and just deactivate, activate. Perfect. All right. I hope everyone's doing well. Let's see here. So, today we're going to be tying some Albie flies. I want to make a video on essentially essential essentially quotation marks essential Albie flies, end quotation marks. There you go. I probably shouldn't use essentially when I'm trying to immediately after use the next word be essential for the name of the title, but essential albacore or false albacore flies. And I was looking for an old fly box and I found this. I must have this is back when I was probably like, must have been like middle school or maybe earlier, like elementary school. This is an old Scientific Anglers one of they used to sell these back in the day, the green ones. The System fly box. But just a really simple, cheap fly box. But I have my giant one that I was going to use. I should probably just buy one. But to be honest with you, most of my fly boxes are junk. I don't ever have really nice ones. But I wanted something somewhat presentable for the video. So we'll do a little intro talking about it too. It's got some history behind it. I used to take this to one of the lakes around here. Anyways, I have flies in my other fly box. I might use the bigger fly box. We'll see. The other option is I was going to take something like make a fly box out of like a container and just put some foam on the inside. But which maybe we'll do a video on that at some point. Over the years I've made like random fly boxes out of things. All right. Well, essential Albie flies. I don't know if we're going to include all of these, but most of these. The Mickelsons, the Surf Candies, the Albie Hose, bonito bunnies, mushmouth, and crease flies are what I was going to go with. We just recently did the Albie Zonker. I think what I'm going to do is a separate video. We're going to talk about how false albacore and bonito and Spanish mackerel love rabbit strip flies for some reason. It's got to be the movement or something like that. That's all I can think of, really. Anyways, I want to make sure I have enough of these flies to kind of fill up the box a little bit. So I have my other fly box, which has a bunch of flies in it. But we're going to tie some of these today and just hang out and chit chat. I've been going fishing. I didn't go today. I went yesterday and a couple days before, hitting the rocks. Unfortunately, it's been tough. The fish haven't been coming close enough. So with a boat, we could have probably got them, but we'll see. It seems like they're still catching a ton of fish up north too, and out in the sound. So I'm hoping that we're still gonna have like maybe another couple weeks of these fish coming in close. But we're going to be tying some flies. So let us get prepared, shall we? Let's do an angle like this. Let's see how this works. Get comfortable to where I like it. Yeah, that should work. Hooks. I've been using a lot of my hooks for commercial time, but I do have these mustads. I think I'm gonna phase out these mustads. I'm not really a fan of the new Mustad C70 SAPs. I think I'm gonna switch over to Gamakatsu SL12Ss. because they're just better. They're way more expensive, but it's a much better, higher quality hook in my opinion. I don't like these finishes on here now. I don't know what they did to these hooks, but I just don't like them. Hey Marcus, how's it going? Yeah, just doing a bunch of fly tying, going hard on YouTube, getting back to doing at least a couple uploads a week, and working on some longer form videos about fall fishing and albies. And then I have my second YouTube channel, Mike Rolls Dice, which we've been making like battle reports and stuff for different tabletop games, but there's this new game called Conflict 47 coming out. So I've been making videos on like the new starter set and like making the miniatures and painting them. We're gonna film a game this weekend. And that video unboxing the we unboxed the new starter set. It got more views than like half of my fly tying videos in the first 48 hours. It's almost at 1,000 or like 800 views. So, and I'm getting a bunch, you know, it's the channel's growing too, so it's good. So I'm working on both YouTube channels. Obviously, Ally Flies Mike is, you know, my main focus, especially because it's fishing season too. So I've been trying to get as much footage, like fishing footage, for albies and stuff like that. And then once the albies kind of slow down, the stripers are going to pick up in October and November. So we're going to start focusing on striper flies and striper fishing and going fishing and filming fishing. So I've been going. It's just tough. The Albie stuff is tough, man. Especially from the side I've been going. And they're not really showing like they usually do. They're kind of doing a different pattern than they usually do. But, so it's really tough because I really want to get footage. I filmed another roll your own fly video, which we rolled up essentially like feather V-ties, standard flash tie, and then V-tied you pick. So I picked synthetics and I did a kinky muddler head, angel hair body, and I did V-tied marabou, and I've been fishing with that thing, and the fly looks so good. And I got it in the albies. They only popped up once, and I was like surrounded by spinning dudes, but we were all working together, and I got it in there. I was like, go, 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 and I get my fly in there, and the albies came up for like a split second. That was the only shot I've had so far. In the past couple times I've gone, they haven't been there at all. I've just been blind casting for like 4 hours. But I was hoping to catch one on the roll your own fly because we're 0 for 2 on roll your own fly. We've technically just hooked a cow nose ray. Foul hooked one is all we've done in that series. So I was really hoping to get an Albie on that fly. And we still could. There's still time. But I think at some point you just got to move on to the next roll your own fly. You know? I can only give it so many days. So we'll see. What's going on, Mark? How you doing? You been Albieing it up? Yo, Rev, what's up? Check it out. Show you real quick. Let me just move my brushes. We got Paragon war suits on the right, and we got the new Firefly jump infantries, which I'm working on. I was making a video on painting these. I don't know. I still might continue it, but I don't want to become a painting channel because it's really annoying to try and film painting and keep it in focus. But yes, sir. We're going full Paragon squad, 2 Fireflies. Slammer Samuels, platoon commander. Regular platoon commander. 1 linebacker and 1 Tesla Sherman, 7 units. Almost all rift dice, except for everything gets a rift dice except for the regular platoon commander that I have to take by force. Otherwise, I wouldn't take them. They would execute him right on the spot. Get him out of there. We're ready. We're going to film our first game of Conflict. It's like 12:46, but I forgot about the command vehicle. So I got to like I'm going to remove 2 flamethrowers, which would be like 50 points. And then I'll redistribute some points. I might give the platoon commander a couple bozos to back him up. It'll be 1250 or under. All right. And I haven't even looked at the book at all. I've been like tying flies commercially. I've been making fly tying videos. I've been filming, building the miniatures and all this. So I've like, I'm so busy right now. But I actually we got a guide coming to pick up. I'll show you guys. We got some goodies. We got 24 of from the new video. We got 24 of these Albi zonkers, which this guide, Merritt White, if you're ever coming out to Montauk, check him out. He's an awesome dude. His buddy tied some of these up for him, and he was like, he swears by them. So they're essentially, as you could see, just zonkers with with rabbit strips and crystal stas. And I put a loop on the back with some mono, just to try and prevent the fouling. But he said it wasn't an issue, so it's probably just a waste of time, honestly, on my part. But it should help no matter what. So there's 24 of these. And then we got 18 Albi hose, which I got these for the local fly shop. I also got 18 Mickelsons. I got 18 Klausers I got to finish. And I'm doing a bunch of deceivers. I'm out of hooks, though, so I got to order hooks. That's the big thing. I ran out of Albie-sized hooks. I'm down to 4-aught and larger, so. And I need to tie 5 dozen kinky muddlers for another guide. So I need to order more hooks as well. In Rhode Island, nice. Well, I can see your profile pic on YouTube. It shows me it's you holding an Albie, so if I remember correctly. But very nice. Yeah, that's what I'm hopeful, that you guys still got fish up north. I'm hopeful that they're coming down south eventually. And we just like maybe had like the first introduction of fish coming through. It's the most fish we've seen in years, so. We haven't seen fish like this in my local area for almost 5 years. You'll see in the Albi highlight later. They kind of disappeared the last 2 days. Yeah. Same thing for us, dude, really. Past 2 days, they kind of disappeared. So we are going to be doing bonito bunnies. I'll take some of this mono out. We do have some of these Mustad C70 SAPs, which are like the big game hooks, or the curved streamer hooks they call them now. We're going to be tying surf candies on these. Synthetic ones, because I think I have some bucktail surf candies, if I'm not wrong, in those boxes. So, if you guys have any honorable mentions, or like I should just say, what's everyone's favorite Albi fly for people that Albi fish? We'll talk about this throughout the stream, but I'll put down some like honorable mentions, you know what I mean? Or if you guys are thinking of anything that I'm forgetting. Of course, there's many more flies. There's like Jamie Boyle's Boilermaker. You got obviously something like a Slim Deceiver, Mickelson's Slim Deceiver. And again, we got the Mickelson, the Surf Candy, the Albie Ho, Bonito Bunny, Mushmouth, and Crease Fly. Those are the 6 flies that I picked. I feel like these are 6 Albie flies that can cover you for most of the times. You know what I mean? Get one on a fly called the Albie Deceiver. Nice larger fly. Nice, yeah. We've caught the biggest fly I've caught an Albie on was like 5 or 6 inches. And you're gonna see. I'll let the Albie highlight play till the end when we take a break later on. It's a like 5-6 inch long blue, yellow, and white deceiver in its mouth. We were on my boat, and what happened is we were in the ocean. The albies, sharks, and bluefin tuna were feeding on half beaks. It was so cool. It was one of the coolest things we've ever seen. We should try a pink one and a tan one, because those are my 2 favorite colors. We're going to need this lateral scale. And Flashaboo should be over here. I have everything somewhat organized because we recently just built a table, me and Rev, for my room, so I moved a bunch of stuff around. So I'm trying to keep everything organized. I have my materials organized by types, but I would really like to get a more in-depth organization going. I might need to set up some sort of larger dresser or something underneath where my AC is. All right. Let's we got our classic Supreme hair. My favorite. The Albie Deceiver. Yeah, you can get them on Deceiver type flies for sure. I still haven't figured out what's the best. I was gonna say like you kind of like people are catching a ton of Albies on sluggos, which are these larger, anywhere from 4 to 5 inch at times. Swim. They're like plastic. What do you call it? Plastic baits, but they're almost like they swim in a darting motion. They're very, very interesting how they swim, and I think that's one of the main reasons that they eat them, right? Because part of me was like, I should develop some sort of fly that's like imitates like a sluggo, but the problem is trying to imitate how a sluggo swims is very, very tough because they do this like side to side darting motion, like in this crazy extreme way, like this boom, 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 boom. So trying to do that with the fly is something that people have tried to do for a long time, and it's tough to really do in a way that you can fish for albies. You know what I mean? Run and gun fishing. It's one thing if you're using your pole dancer for stripers, and that sort of style, but I guess perhaps a very small pole dancer for albies could work. The only problem is it seems like the smaller they get, that fly is even harder to replicate. It's how it swims. But anyways, it's part of me is like we should tie just like 5 inch long pink deceivers and throw them. You know what I mean? And maybe if you tie a 5 inch long pink deceiver, but you put a keel on there like a Sadati slammer, then potentially it could cause it to swim in a particular way. So maybe that is something worth trying. You know what I mean? Otherwise, we would just tie like a sort of like more like a tuna deceiver instead of like a larger, uh, larger profile striped bass deceiver. I'll just say we'd slim it down the profile because we tie some tuna flies like that in the past, which are essentially just deceivers tied to imitate more like offshore style baits. Yes, the Albi snacks. Yeah, thank you. That's what I'm thinking of. Not the sluggos. It looks like a sluggo. You get what I'm saying? I'm old school. Yeah, the Albi snacks. Yeah, they swim in a very particular way. Oh, that's been tough. They were beginning of the week. Me and my buddy Jeff went out in his boat. We got a ton of footage. I'll show you. Like, let me actually show you real quick. Albie folder. Oh, I forgot. I gotta unplug it and plug it back in, don't I? Unplug it, plug it back in. Ever since I moved my computers, it does this. I don't know why. No. What if I deactivate it and then reactivate it? Hey, sorry for the flashbang, but so I got. Why is it so like zoomed out? Anyways, I'll just show you. I was out on my buddy Jeff's boat, and look at his little dog, by the way, Tunny. She's so cute. She's so funny. That'll be good for the video just in general. Tunny, the little tuna dog. But so we were out, and I broke one fish off at a knot. I must have had because I've been fishing on the rocks a lot. I didn't change a leader, so that's probably what happened. But and then I hooked one and dropped it. But it was tough that day. Apparently after we left, it was crazy, right? And then I've been fishing from the rocks a lot. That's Jeff right there. And right now, I believe there's Albies blowing up to my right. You can't see it, but there's Albies right there, like blowing up. And there's two guys with spinning rods next to me. Otherwise, I would have got one. If those guys weren't there, dude, I would have slammed them. But see that? There's guys right next to me. So I'm like leaning around them, like casting, and there were fish like blowing up, like boom, boom, boom. It's really tough though. You know what I mean? And I forgot how much a pain in the ass it is to fish on this side of the inlet because the rocks are way more jagged and you're so high up. So you could see my lines constantly hitting the rocks. And they're all just covered in mussels and crap. You got to wear corkers. If you're not wearing corkers, you're going to die. All of this is like if you stepped on this with regular shoes, you would just slip right in. So I'm wearing, if you don't know what corkers are, they essentially have like nails screwed or screws in the bottom of them that allow you to walk on really slick rocks. So, but it's constantly like you constantly have to keep an eye on the waves because I'll show you where's the. So that was that day. Which day was this? Is this the day that we almost died? Yeah, you kind of have to constantly be aware of what's going on here. You'll see that one of these waves completely lifts me off the ground. It's wild. Not that one. I'm like, yeah, yeah, we're good, we're good, we're good, we're chilling. But so it's pretty rough. Now the other inlet on the other side, or the other jetty, I should say, is way more fly fishable. It's like way more friendly in terms of like it's not as rough and you can fish further in. Over here, it's more like the Wild West in terms of this is the wave. Yeah, yeah. Look, I'm like, oh, let me get back. This is a big wave. Look at that. It like lifted me up and moved me over to a different rock. I was like, fuck that, we're out, boys. It like lifted me off the rock and moved me like 6 inches. I was like, yeah, nope, I'm out. See you guys later. But there were Albies going crazy. There were Albies going crazy that day. So, but yeah, we've been trying. It's been tough. So I'm trying to get them from shore. So we've caught a couple from boats, but I haven't been able to get any footage. So you lost yours last week. 2 foot seas, release bracket broke, and your trolling foot is in 111 foot. Oh my God. Did it like rip out the electrical and everything too? Did it just rip the wires or? Damn. I would have thought that it would be like hanging there or something. 2 foot seas. Oh, was the trolling motor out in the 2 foot seas or was it up? It was up on the it was folded up and it popped off and broke or something. I'm surprised. Well, look, I've never put one of those things on my boat because we go out. Dude, I wish I saved some of the streams, but there were streams where the boat was vertical and I had my buddy Nick and Aiden on the front. And I'm like, get it in there. And we're like jumping the boat. My Steiger, like, slamming so hard. like, like throwing Nick's back out or something, you know? I'm like, go, go, go. Oh, damn. Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, it was hanging there for a while. Yep. Yep. Personally, dude, I'm sure those things are nice. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't like them. Because I have friends that use them, and every friend that has one of those things on the front of their boats, they all have those nice fancy buckets to strip the line into. Meanwhile, I got to use my stripping basket. My line constantly gets stuck on the trolling motor when it's folded up. I absolutely despise trolling motors. I could see, as somebody who has a boat, I haven't used it for a couple of years, but somebody who has a boat, I could see how it's nice, especially for like bay fishing and stuff. But I mean, I feel like half of the time I use my boat, I'm out in the ocean anyway, so it the annoyance of constantly like catching my line on the trolling motor in the middle of an Albie blitz. Oh my god. It's because like my buddy's in the back because he's usually helming, so he's got his bucket right there and his fly rod, so he's good to go. So I'm in the front, right? I've snagged my line so many times. I probably like I probably missed like 50 Albies in my life because of trolling motors catching like snagging my fly line. Damn you. But when you use them, oh man, they're so nice. Oh wait, we gotta put lateral scale on here. Yeah. But yeah, it's been tough. I don't know. We'll see. I'm definitely going to be traveling up to the North Shore. I think that's going to be happening in like October. We're going to be driving up to the North Shore and filming up there. Unfortunately, we can only park in certain places. You used to be able to kind of like get away with parking certain places in the past, and they were a little bit more like lenient about it because it's like everything out here is like a summer town, so there's going to be parking permits near any beaches, but usually later on in the season it's fine. Up on the North Shore in the town of Southold, they have parking permits that go like the entire year or something. So in the past, people used to be able to go parking in certain areas and fish, or some used to be able to like park essentially in like these cul-de-sacs and walk through almost like a wooded area and just get to a fishing spot. But over the years, like people have left trash, people have like started fights with owners. So these spots that we've used to fish for like 20, 30 years, like you can't even get to anymore. So unfortunately, just over time, more and more people found out, probably through social media, whatever. And you get people traveling from far and like, like when you're essentially like, we're almost all trespassing, but it's like the landowners don't care. You know what I mean? And like people have been doing it for years, and then like a handful of bad actors screw it up for like an entire fishing community. It sucks. And there were spots we used to go to all the time and fish, and then we got thrown out a couple of times by like bay constables. They're like, "How did you get walk in here?" And you can essentially like walk through these abandoned. It's crazy. I guess they were gonna build these like all these like houses, cookie cutter, like 2-story houses, 3-story, whatever. You know what I mean? And you see these like lots all the time, and they were gonna build this place, but they didn't. So there's these big roads paved that lead down in the water, and you see people riding their bikes, walking their dogs, walking with their kids. I'm like, what do you mean? How these people are walking there? But we weren't gonna argue with the bay constables. But yeah, there's some spots. Oh, dude, the fishing was phenomenal. Some of the best shore fishing you'll ever see. But now to get to them, you're gonna have to like literally walk for miles and miles on uneven, like gravel, stone, giant stone rock on the North Shore. And we've done it a couple times, and it was like you would make the walk, and then you wouldn't fish. You would like take a nap for like 30 minutes, and then you would get to, you know what I mean? So the other option is a place that anybody could park, and it's going to be absolutely, it's not going to be as good at fishing opportunity. Still pretty good, but you're also going to be dealing with a bunch of people too. But essentially, it's just a big open beach. That's what it is. It's very interesting. It's not jetty fishing or anything. It's just open beach fishing, but they're like essentially bowls and coves, big coves on the North Shore, and you just get giant schools of bait that get funneled into these coves. And these coves could be like miles long, And the albies, the stripers, they just come through in waves, and they essentially make runs up and down the beaches. So a lot of times it's just best to sit, wait. There are certain places where the fish will show more often, like points, things like that. But a lot of times it could also just be absolutely random. So very interesting fishing. It's tough, but you know, if you ain't got a boat, that's the way you got to do it. And that being said, surf candies. This is where I perfected my surf candies on the North Shore of Long Island. Albie fishing like 6, 7 years ago. Going every day and just tying surf candy, surf candy, surf candy, surf candies. And then tying thousands upon thousands. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if I tied 10,000 of these things by now. Like, I'm almost certain we've definitely tied 10,000, so I wouldn't be surprised if we tied like another 5K on top of it or something. But we tied a lot of these things. Because I've tied teaser variations, I've tied tuna variations, I've tied strike, obviously natural versions, synthetic versions, feather versions, flex candies. I've tied so many different surf candies commercially over the years. And for myself. So we're using some medium resin as always. As always, you can always use thick, but thick resin is way too slow when tying a bunch of surf candies. Ain't nobody got time for that. So I'm not gonna lie. I'll show you guys this. I ended up ordering resin, and I got the regular. I get the 2-ounce bottles. They're like $40, but whatever. Check this out. This is a 0.5 ounce bottle. Now they didn't have the 2-ounce, so I got sent this instead, which is totally fine. But can you guess how much this 0.5 ounce bottle is versus a 2-ounce bottle? So this is a quarter of amount of the resin that is in the 2-ounce bottle, which is $40. Tell me what you think this costs. Which, by the way, I'm probably going to use that up in like 2 seconds. I would almost rather that they didn't send me that, and I could have just taken the money from this and just buy a bottle from somewhere else, but it's all good. Yeah, guess how much that 0.5 ounce resin bottle is compared to a normal 2-ounce resin bottle. And let's be honest, I'll probably use that, in a sitting when commercially tying. Also, shout out to Craggle. I've been putting my light further and further away. I think it definitely helps with any resin running, potentially. I've always just like slammed the light up close over the years. I think it was a habit from using like lesser powerful lights and stuff. Man, this medium dries so nice. It's a little tacky, but it honestly dries so nice. The thin, on the other hand, the thin will dry tacky. This is where you're going to need to. I still have some of my 4-ounce bottle, but this is where you're going to need to let it sit in the sun. So, also, hopefully I said hello, Doc, but what's going on? I think I did. But if not, hello. Almost certain I did, but you never know. Hookah Lounge be hitting different. We'll just throw the caps on these. All right. Yeah, I'll take a look and I'll see if I'm missing anything, but I think we're covering the bases pretty good when it comes to what flies I should put in my Albi box or for essential Albi flies. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't like I when it comes to Albie fishing, I'll just grab whatever I have. Whether it's a Mickelson, a surf candy, an Albiho, and whether it's white, pink and white, chartreuse and white, tan and white, I'll just grab any of them, and a lot of the times it works. It depends on like how you fish it a lot of times, you know. But essentially, as long as you're somewhat within the rounds of like what you're trying to imitate, you're pretty good. Now, what you see though, a lot of times, if you look back in the past, I was tying really big Albie flies. Like I was tying 1 odd surf candies, 4 odds with really big bodies, and I was constantly catching fish. And I still do that. I'm not the type of Albie tire that ties really small anchovy flies to try and imitate them. I'd rather have something this size when the anchovies are that big because I feel like the fish can just see it better. You know what I mean? And these fish are moving so fast. And I'm fishing next to guys, I see it all the time. They're throwing these giant hoagie jigs and they're slamming fish left and right. I'm like, why the hell am I throwing this tiny little thing that I feel like they can barely even see when they're crushing at top speed? So, especially when the fish are like, there's so much bait, I feel like they're just eating and they're not even looking half the time. So, if you can have a fly that's a little bit larger, so it just catches their attention as they're coming up and just massacring this bait fish, I feel like that's your opportunity. That's why the white Albie hose are so good because they just stick out. I don't know what it is. My buddy Jeff didn't like them because they were too big compared to what the bait looked like, and they just didn't look like them, he thought. And then I made him use one day, and he caught like so many fish on him. He's like, "Oh my god, I love this fly." I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, "It's an attractor fly, is what it is, right?" And not only that, but it kind of pushes water because of its design. There's many different reasons, right? It's not just you're not just trying to imitate something. There's there's a natural strike instinct in fish that you're trying to what do you call it? You're trying to cater to essentially. And there's certain times where the albies will be very picky, and there's certain times they won't eat at all. Like if you've ever gone out and seen the albies, they do the slow roll thing, and they'll be eating these like glass minnows on the surface or something. It's almost impossible to catch them when they're doing this. If you've ever like albie fished a lot, you know what I'm talking about. They do this very particular type of like they almost like start rolling on the surface like trout or stripers, uh, and like moving. I don't know if they're on some particular thing, but there are certain times where you will just not be able to catch them. And you'll get lucky, you'll get one. And that's when I feel like you really should be throwing like some jumbo fly and just get it right in their face. You know what I mean? Because they're eating this like microscopic crab hatch or something. Like who the hell knows? There's some crazy Albie phenomena that happens. It usually happens in deeper water too, like 110 feet or something like that. You'll see it. Doesn't it's pretty rare, but we do see it. I mean, just a couple coats of medium, a couple coats of thin, man. These surf candies come out looking real nice. I'll give it a quick touch. Yeah, these just end up being tackier. It's just due to the type of resin. You know what I mean? Just the way it is. Oh, dude, pink and white surf candies. I mean, I'm trying to think if I only had one fly I could ever fish again for albies, would it be this one or the bucktail one? I really do like this one. I feel like it doesn't have as much life as the bucktail one though. Like the bucktail one has more like sentimental value to me. It's like a older variation, you know. I feel like Bob Popix was like coming up with bucktail candies back in the day or something. I don't know. There's just something about the look of them, especially in pop flies and like just being a kid. And like I couldn't get synthetic materials a lot, so I was tying them with bucktail. Um, but the synthetic ones work so good too. Now the other thing is then you just trim this. You got to trim the butt ends as well. You don't have to. You'll catch just as many albies not trimming it, but it's for your own confidence level. And I'll show you real quick how you can do that. It's going to make a mess, so I'm not going to actually trim it, but you essentially just take it and you can cut this way. If you cut this way, you're going to end up cutting more material. You have to be careful. So over the years, I started doing it like this, and you essentially just kind of lightly taper it by just kind of going like that. I don't want to cut it too much, but you can see we've already kind of tapered it down now over here. We have videos on all this you could check out. And there you go. That's all you really need to do. Just so it doesn't have like a really strong butt end to it, you know, so it doesn't look like it was just cut material that was tied on a hook. It just has a more natural flow to it and its appearance. All right, well that's one for the Albi box. Hey, look at that, they fit. I didn't know if they'd fit or not. Cool. I'm probably just gonna throw them in a different box, but I don't have any cool fly boxes. I used to have some cool ones. I think they all they always ended up rusting and stuff. I don't know. It's one of the downsides to saltwater. I still haven't figured out a fly box solution that I like, unless you have like a boat, you know, and you can keep it in your boat that's like watertight sealed, you know, hatches and stuff. When you have to bring like a fly box in your backpack and you're waiting and you fall into a hole and your whole backpack gets wet and your fly box gets wet. Like there's just so many different, you know, like the other day I had my backpack up on that tower that you could see on that jetty, and the waves like literally almost swept the backpack off because the waves came up and hit it and splashed the whole thing. So my entire fly box, everything was soaking wet, you know. So it's tough to find like a good solution. And the ones that are sealed tight, the fly boxes with like a rim and stuff, then you got to deal with the saltwater being trapped in there too. I feel like sometimes like regular fly boxes that kind of can breathe a little are not bad because they can kind of just dry out if they get wet. You just got to take the flies out. You know, you don't want to leave wet saltwater flies in the foam. That's when they seem to rust. So, but it's tough. I don't always remember to take the flies out after I fish, and then they rust at times. So that's where it helps having like nicer Gamakatsus. These like mustads with these darker finish. These things have been rusting, so you have to baby them more. It's pretty annoying, but all right. So we got a surf candy. Let's what should we tie now? Let's tie a bonito bunny because I was thinking about it. I'm just gonna cure my bodkin real quick. How long we've been streaming? 50 minutes? Yeah, we'll tie this and then we'll take a break. I'm running low on water over here. All right, let me put this away. Yeah, I don't know when I'm gonna go fishing next. Because tomorrow we're filming Conflict 47 or playing it. And tonight I need to film probably I'm thinking the new version of the Albie hoe. And I wouldn't mind filming the fly box video as well. And then I have so many videos I need to edit. But the main thing is I really need to do is I need to get as many flies done as possible so I can pay my bills coming up. So, what do you call it? I'm probably going to end up going fishing next week during the week. Because it's been nice. During the week, there's only been 1 or 2 people there. During the weekend, there's going to be 100 people sitting on those rocks. Whether they're Albie fishing or not, there's just people doing so many different things. So, it's probably going to be off limits for the weekend. I could drive and go somewhere else, but like I have so much stuff I got to do. I really got to get flies done. That's kind of the most important thing. But we also have a video that needs to come out Sunday. Sunday is kind of like one of my regular upload days. So we've been doing like Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday, or Tuesday, Sunday, kind of that's been the upload schedule-ish, if you will. All right. Bonito bunny, eh? And rest in peace, the Mustad C70 SDs. Best hooks I've ever used. Cheap, reliable, didn't rust very easily. didn't break, you would bend the hook hitting the rocks before you broke the fly. So that means you could still fish with it. Believe me, I hit a lot of rocks with them because there's a lot of rocks up on the North Shore. And yeah, they changed them. Like, whoa, we're gonna make them look cool, make them thin, and this and that. Chemical finish. Boo! What the hell, Mustad? I thought you were one of the real ones. They probably got some, some guy who's like, listen, this is what the fly guys like. They like these new, slick, chemical finish, thin. We want to make them as thin as possible without breaking when you breathe on them. Like, I think they thought about this for, like, their other hooks. I don't know why they did this for the saltwater. I'm going to be honest with you. Has anyone used these compared to the new, the old big games? Because I'm telling you, I used a couple of these. They rusted really badly compared to the old ones. Leaving, like, going fishing for the day, cutting the fly off, putting it in the box, fishing, going home, forgetting, leaving it. And, like, a week later, you come back and that fly's, like... And other ones will be, like, a little rusted on these ones. Like the Gamakatsus or the Mustad C70 SDs. But, like, these types of hooks will be, like, completely... Like, you forget to cut the line here and it gets rusted out in the hook eye. You know what I'm talking about? I don't know if anyone's experienced that. But, not ideal. So I don't think I'm going to be tying flies commercially on these anymore. You know what I mean? Haven't been catching anything yet. I mean, we caught a couple Albies, but this past week or so, it's been tough, dude. But that's the way it goes. You know what I mean? We'll get one from the rocks eventually. Yeah, it's because of the mono. It's if you leave that mono loop. There's moisture, and then I think the salt. There's like salt, dried salt, on the mono or fluorocarbon, and it causes it to rust. So we got our loop, tie, and then we're going to palmer. Not too long enough. But what's going on, Jimmy? Let's go with a little super glue. So lock it down. Went with a pretty small mono loop, but should work. It's also a very short piece of rabbit fur that should unfoul itself while casting, if it does foul, but the loop should help a little bit. So, let's go get our crosscut. Oh, we should add some flash. I'm gonna add crystal flash to this. I kind of like crystal flash more for this. No, I saw some. Might have fell actually. That's alright. It's okay. I got new packs. Don't ever let bleach touch your filleted knives. It pits the metal, which will start rusting even if it's stainless. Ah, damn, dude. Yeah, the world's been a little crazy for sure. But yeah. I've been busy doing stuff, so I haven't been paying too much attention, but I know there's all sorts of crazy shit happen. Luckily, we got places like YouTube and Twitch to escape all that, though. Whether it's you here or watching something else or doing whatever. Yeah, what do you call it? I didn't know that about fillet knives. Why is that? Why does the bleach cause the stainless steel to rust like that on a fillet knife? Is it because of the finish? The bleach, how it reacts to it? So we're going to palmer. We want it to lay this way. So we're going to tie it like this. No. We got it facing like this. This tricks me up sometimes. Yeah, we want it like this, but how are we going to attach it? Make it easy. Yeah, we're just going to tie it and wrap it, I guess. I don't know why I thought there was some more complicated process to this. Yeah, these are cross-cut rabbit strips. I feel like I used to tie them on a very particular way where they'd be backwards and then wrap them. But I feel like I can just do this. Maybe I was overly complicating it for myself. Yeah, we're good. Very small amount of super glue so it doesn't soak into the rabbit strip because it'll harden it up. I also don't like having this be too like stacked on itself. I actually kind of want to wrap it so it's like more spread out. You find if you have too much rabbit, what do you call it? Hide. And get things be a little tricky. Yeah, this is called the bonito bunny. This is a classic New England Albie bonito fly. One of the old school ones. Really, back in the day, there was really just surf candies, bonito bunnies, Albie hose, and Mickelson's and crease fly, like the stuff that we're listing here. These are why these are essential Albie flies. There are, you know, variations, things here and there, but those are the really definitive flies that I could say were like really, you know, had their mark. There's a lot of variations on stuff that people will do. And then not to talk, you know, not to talk down on it or something. I totally love people coming up with their own stuff. But also, like yesterday, I was on Instagram. I saw somebody, they tied something. It was like somebody something it's called, whatever it was. And it was like a vice company showing like a fly, and it was just like a snake fly. It literally had ostrich curl, marabou, spun deer hair. The only difference I could see was there was a little crystal flash, but so and I'm like, all right, that's cool, but like, it's funny. I think we're gonna be seeing flies. Like, I wonder if like 30 years from now, somebody's gonna recreate the surf candy unknowingly. Or knowingly, you know what I mean? We've talked about this. I've unknowingly recreated a fly before, thinking I was original. But so it's funny, like, I really, you know, there's a handful of flies that kind of, like, come to mind when I think of Albie fishing. Of course, there's variations of things, but I feel like one of the flies that's way different than stuff that I saw in the past was an easy body tube head, the cone fly, the cone head fly, which I think we've covered before. But it's like, imagine like the that cone material, what's it called? Easy body or something that you can fold back. What was it? One fly that we tied, the Palmer Special or something, the Palmet Special. Yeah. Palmet Special. Imagine that sort of head, but with just craft fur off the back. And there's some different guides that swear by that fly. And that one I was like, okay, that's kind of different. You know what I mean? But I guess in the end, it's kind of just like one of a Pamit special. I don't know which one came first, but what I'm getting at, there's like a handful of flies out there, and the rest are all seem like variations, which is totally fine. But it's funny. It's really there's like feels like a handful of flies that kind of paved the way for hundreds and hundreds of more patterns down the line. You know, it's very cool. It's probably something we should do is do a video on like the deceiver and then talk about all the variations of flies that you could consider to be like a variation of a deceiver. And there are all these flies that people have came up with. You know what I mean? Yeah, like the net tube mesh type material, easy body, or the sort of stuff you'll see like, it's not the same sort of stuff you'd see like they make those Alfonso crab flies or something. Essentially, it's like electrical conduit tubing, but like a mesh version. Very similar sort of stuff. I don't know if it is the same when it comes to easy body. I think that is it. Easy body is maybe a slightly different material than that, but I feel like that Alflexo stuff is literally just the electrical conduit stuff. If you've ever like made a wiring harness for a Nissan 240SX for your SR20 swap, and you made your own custom wiring harness for the body control module going to and then the computer ECU, you need to make new connectors and stuff for the Japanese motor to the American chassis, and you would make your own wiring harness, and you would use some electrical conduit like to control all the wires. Essentially, you would zip tie them and then you would stick them into that sort of mesh tubing to keep it nice and neat, kind of like how in your car, like you have wiring running throughout the car leading to the different ECU or the ECMs, the computer modules in your car that controls different things, systems. You'll see there's like wiring that a lot of times will have that, or at least maybe on German cars. I don't know if a lot of American cars we do that, but I guess it depends. I'm used to driving old ship boxes, so I couldn't tell you. Damn you, rabbit hair. You laid on my beautiful golden eye. Okay. So this fly right here, this is one of my favorite. I mean, when you have a fly called the bonito bunny, it's got to be good for bonito, right? When it says bonito in the name, it's a given. Some of those flies I got the pearlescent mesh, and you fray it at the end. A couple pinch of EP fiber, and then you UV glue over the outside. Hey, there you go. Yeah. Hell yeah. That'll certainly get the job done. Bonito bunny. Yeah. All right. So we tied a surf candy. We tied a bonito bunny. I want to tie a traditional Albie hoe in white, because we tied some funky ones recently. And I think I want to tie a mushmouth. So those are the two other flies. And we'll probably tie maybe one crease fly, a micro crease fly we were going to try. These are the other ones that I want to make sure I have a fly ready for the video. So, all right. Speaking of Albies, though, we'll take a quick Blake. We'll take a... God, I can barely talk. My mouth's so dry right now. I need to get a cup of water. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to play our Albie highlight, which we've been playing for the past 5 years. And guess what? I'm never going to stop playing it. Maybe one day we'll play something else, but we will still throw the Albie highlight in there because it's so good. But yeah. Also, the other reason is at some point I may stop paying for Epidemic Sound, so I might have to stop using that one. So we'll have to make a new one or something. But that being said, we're going to take a quick break. And when we get back, we got 2 or 3 more Albie flies to tie. So, did you ever see stripers boiling like that? Like in that video for the Aldi's? No, I don't know what you're talking about. I've seen stripers boiling like crazy to where you can walk on them. And I've seen it where literally it's a mile. It's like literally acres. Like actual acres of fish on the surface, all feeding at once, where it looks like you could walk on them. Like you can't even see the water, it's just fish sticking out with their bodies. But I don't know. I know an Aldi is where you can go buy like meat for cheap and stuff. Yeah, here, look, I'll show you photos of Montauk. I mean, you could just see the boils go for like as far as you can see on the horizon, essentially. Just fish everywhere. And this isn't even that crazy. This is like you can see water, but this is what I'm talking about. Like this sort of stuff. You can't even see the water. Look at that. Each unoccupied space, there is no unoccupied space. It's just fish. There's better photos. We gotta find them. First off, I have to say it all the time. I took this photo right here. Okay? I took this photo at South Fork Salt. Yeah. Where's my credit? Bullshit. Yeah, that's right. What now, Tim Regan? Where's my credit? I took that photo. Yeah, like this. But I've seen it to where it's like it's crazy. It's kind of like, you know, it's like this, but where it was jam packed. Yeah, there's some really crazy photos. I'm not seeing them, but there's some crazy photos that you could see. Hey, there we go. I used to do this back in the day, but now my back hurts too much to really be doing this. Damn, this is a cool photo right here. You can't see it, but I feel like this is like early 2000s or late 90s, maybe? That's what it looks like. Maybe not? Oh, we should go to Montauk this year. We should go fly fishing from shore. I'll tell you what, I'm not bunker fishing, so so we should be going what do you call it? We should go to Montauk and go fish from shore. It's like an hour drive for me, and it's a pain, right? But we should do it. I could probably get a trip, I could probably get a couple boat trips to Montauk. I have buddies. We could probably get one or two. And then there's a good chance. I mean, I don't know if there's a good chance, but this guy right here owes me a ride. So this is like the best guy to Montauk. And last year I dropped off flies at his house, so he did promise me he'd take me fishing. I bet you he forgot though. But he does owe me a fishing trip. All right. All right, we're gonna take a little break. Yeah, Montauk's pretty crazy though, dude. Montauk's pretty nuts. What's going on, Paul? How you doing? I hope you're doing well, dude. We're taking a quick break. We're gonna play our Albie highlight, and then we're gonna be tying some more Albie flies, right? We'll be back in just a sec. Yeah, dude. Stay tight, all right? Yeah, you can fight. Yeah, dude. Yeah, Aiden. Knuckle buster. Are you good? You need me to do anything?
Yeah, I might need a ride. Yes.
Okay, okay. Hold on, I'm gonna turn now.
I'm gonna try and get on the valve.
Yeah, get on the valve. Alright, you're doing good. Keep doing your thing. I'm gonna move us away.
Is that a little one?
No, that's a nice one.
Let's go!
Come here, hold next to Albie. Good job.
That's sick.
Alright. Nice.
Let's go! Albie slap!
Good job, dude.
Yee!
Looking down the barrel of a 12 gauge little toonie, bro. On the Albie bar, too. Oh my god, dude! What the fuck? Woohoo! Oh my god. Yep. Oh my god! I gotta turn the boat so I can cast. Oh my god, dude! Alright, get back to catching him, Diego.
You can go on now.
Frigates.
Albie?
Frigates.
Frigate.
Whoa! Whoa! There's got to be bluefin or something. Look at. Hell yeah, dude! To grab a fish like that, to grab a fly like that, a big deceiver. Albie's in the rain on the half beaks, baby. Greenbacks. And until next time, guys, we'll see you. And as always, slam it, cores. Damn, I was fat in that slamming cores thing. I've lost like probably 40 pounds since then. It's crazy. What's going on, Jen? How you doing? All right. What do we got to whip up? We got to do an Albie ho. Albie ho. Let's do that after the mush mouth. Because that's going to take a hot glue gun. So we'll put the rabbit strips away. We're going to get angel hair. And I guess we should try and imitate a, we'll do blue and white. Or what other colors we got? I was going to say there's been so many snappers, juvenile snappers. We could do like yellow, though. Yellow and white is the classic color that David Skoke used to use, so let's use that. And I don't know if I have pearl, so we might go with silver. Now, this is a Massachusetts classic. If you ain't tying this fly, Jen, I don't know what's up. You got to respect David Skoke. That's a Massachusetts legend. Lou Tabery. Bunch of other great saltwater fly tires from there, but David Skoke's one of my favorite Massachusetts fly tire. And Chris Windrum, of course. All right. We do need some of the Supreme hair because we're going to be using it as a spine for the fly. We're going to be using flex resin. Normally we'd use something called Flex Seal, I think it was called in the past. That stuff will literally kill you if you breathe that in too much. So much so that David Skoke stopped tying these with it, or stopped tying the fly altogether. And now he ties like trout flies or something, like crab flies, if I'm not wrong. Does photography or something. So what we're going to do is we're tying a mushmouth at the moment. We're just tying Albie flies. I'm going to be filming a video on essential Albie flies. So we're just tying a couple of flies for the fly box for the video to talk about. Mushmouth's a classic. So I picked for the 6 Albie flies, Mickelson, Surf Candy, Albie Hose, Bonito Bunnies, Mushmouths, and Crease Flies are the 6 essential Albie flies I think you should have on hand. Now, that could vary, but these are the ones that I use. So we're going to create a spine for the angel hair. Just like that, essentially. Probably going to stream for another hour or so, maybe a little less. We're going to whip up a couple more flies. Then I'm going to film. I'm probably just going to film the. We're going to film an updated version of the Albie Ho. For sure. Because that video was done like 3, 4, 5 years ago or something, maybe more, 6 years ago. So I'd like to do an updated version of that fly. And then I would like to do a video. We're going to do a video talking about Albie flies. And then I'm going to do some different topical or discussion videos about Albie fishing. We're going to do one about fishing from boats, one about fishing from the shore. So we're going to have a bunch of Albie videos coming out. I've been trying to get as much footage as possible, but I have a bunch of old footage that we can use too. I was hoping to get some new footage. Like, I want to make Albie videos. I also want to catch Albies. So it's a fine balance of trying to film and also trying to, get like B-roll footage and think about shots and this and that instead of just strapping a GoPro on my chest or putting a GoPro on a rock somewhere. So we hit this with some flex resin. This is going to be our stiff spine. I will say, with the Flex Seal, you would tie them and then you would tie your angel hair stuff on there, and it would kind of help fuse itself into the angel hair. But, I guess you could use liquid fusion as well. Liquid fusion's the other option, which, potentially, maybe we'll tie another one after this real quick. We'll see. These are pretty quick fly, so it's essentially just V-tied angel hair is what we're going to be doing here. Nothing complicated. Got a new to me two-hander today. 11 foot 1 inch 6-weight. Oh, very nice. Cool. I was fishing with my switch rod 11.5 foot off the rocks yesterday. It's actually really nice because the switch rod's a lot longer, so when you're fishing off a jetty, you have much better line control and you can pick up your line easier. And you also need to worry less about smacking the rocks, things like that when you're fishing with a switch rod. So that's the nice thing about it. So we're going to V-tie here. And the reason why you do the spine on this fly is so the angel hair doesn't foul. It's pretty important. So we're just going to V-tie. Got a section of yellow here. Angel hair, you can almost just rip it by hand, which is nice. So we're going to V-tie this now. Gotta talk about dead air. I'm like sitting there with my mouth open trying to V-tie this. All my attention on it. Let me just fold it back. Tie on top. Probably could have started more forward, or for instance, tied this material here and then covered it in resin, but that's okay. We're just building it up. Plus, we're going to put a UV resin head on it anyway. Yeah, I really like the mushmouths were one of my favorite flies growing up. This was like one of the more modern looking flies back in the 90s. You know what I mean? A lot of the flies are more like traditional bucktail looking type Albie flies. This was one that was like, whoa, this thing looks kind of tricked out. You know what I mean? I'd like to get one more collar after this. I'm trying to leave myself enough room here. We're going to shorten the length down on all the material as well. Save that for the front one. In fact, I probably should honestly make this silver a little bit shorter. I'm worried about it fouling, so that's kind of the the reasoning behind it. This is better. Yeah, something like this. It's better. And we could go ahead and make sure that they're even before we fold them back, of course. Make sure our wraps are even front, top and bottom as well, front to back as well. Very flashy fly, but you know, they're flashy fish. Then we'll do a light one here. So I guess what I should have done is I should have had this silver go longer, because you can see the back of this one. But, you know, it's okay. Not the worst thing in the world. But not the prettiest mushmouth I've ever tied. Maybe we tie one more after this. I'm making a mess, though. There's angel hair going everywhere. It's the problem with this stuff. It's like weightless. It's a weightless material, so it goes everywhere. It's like rabbit hair or something, you know? And I don't really fish mushmouths that much. I wanna catch an Albie on one this year. I don't know if I've ever even, I feel like I have caught them on them up on the North Shore in the past. I definitely caught a ton of stripers, but I want to fish these more. They're really fun. We're gonna brush this out as well. Yeah, this ain't my prettiest mushmouth. That's right. A little warm up for the next one. What is the silver and chartreuse material? Angel hair. You don't know this is angel hair? Winning flash, angel hair. I think those are the two most common names. Virtually the same stuff, at least in my opinion. Oh, dude, we should do a fly tying quiz where I just pull out random materials and be like, all right, chat. Yeah, I have 2 minutes. What is this material? And I can also zoom in like super close up on stuff and just show you like a super zoomed in of a type of flash. Name the flash. Angel hair is much finer. Well, I guess. I don't know. To be honest with you, it's all the same to me. So perhaps there's more of a difference. To me, it ties all the same. It seems like it's all the same. It's interchangeable. Yeah, so I think we're good with just 2 collars instead of 3. This one was built up a little bit more than I like it. Still not a bad thing. But ideally a little bit slimmer. I mean, that's not necessarily the worst profile for those juvenile snappers that we have in our area. I think we're going to try liquid fusion on the next one too, so let me put that away. We are going to glue this up because this will catch fish. This is also just when sometimes I'm not necessarily super happy with an Albie fly, I'll keep it, and the striped bass will eat it all day up on the North Shore or something, so, or out in Montauk. And probably the Albies will eat it too, but like I said, it's a mind game. Interchangeable with between Win and Flash and Angel hair. I don't think there's that much of a difference to where it's like I don't even remember which one is which, is what I'm saying, Jane. They're interchangeable between each other. Like I couldn't even tell you which one's the difference between them because in my mind they were just like the same thing almost, and the application of both materials is the same. So essentially, that's what you're working with. This one is a little bit more material than I like, so we'll tie one more slimmed down. But the idea behind this right here is it's a stiff tail that stops this angel hair from fouling. Let's tie one more, make it proper ratios of material. A little bit nicer looking. Yeah, it's winning flash. But I'm going to be honest with you, some of these packages... Okay, this one might be the same. This one might be the right one, fluorescent yellow. Some of these I've just interchanged. I've just thrown in and out throughout the packaging over the years. Let me see if I actually have a package that says angel hair. Probably not. Either way, I consider them to pretty much be the same thing. They might be different, but I feel like if you're trying to tie mushmouth, for instance, you can use win-in flash or angel hair, and you'll be okay. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think I do. I have this stuff, which I would also consider to be pretty much the same sort of thing. It's probably a different manufacturer, maybe slightly different, more durable, less durable. This is the EP Sparkle stuff. But again, it's very similar sort of stuff. It's almost like this fine tinsel material, you know what I mean? Because most of this stuff, this is like freaking Christmas tinsel material that they just turned into like fly tying or something. Or it's something they use for some other industry and they were like, haha, we can repackage this and sell it and make millions. And that's fly tying material for you. Most fly tying materials like something that was used like almost for something completely different. And they're like, we could totally use that. Yeah, like whether it's maybe a little bit more stiff or whether it slightly breaks easier or less, you get the idea. It's like Flashboo. There's like a bunch of different types of, even from different companies that make materials that are like Flashaboo. But like a lot of times I'll just say Flashaboo. You know, whether it's generic or name brand or this or that, or Crystal Flash. There's materials like Crystal Flash or whatever, this or that. I consider the angel hair win-in flash or that EP material to kind of be like that, where this is like one type of material. Even though they're different types, maybe from different brands or something, it's very similar type of material. And it might even be, you know, just made in the factory next door, you know, or something in China. You know what I mean? All right. Yeah, we'll tie one more of these and then we'll wrap it up. So, a little bit of Supreme hair this time. We'll move the Supreme hair forward more. Kind of like right to there, we'll tie it to. So that gives us about here. Tie our material on. We'll do like 2 V ties and then glue the head. Boom. And we're going to liquid fusion this up, and then we're going to tie the angel hair or win-in flash, whatever you want to, whatever floats your fancy. We're going to tie the angel hair on while this stuff's still wet. I think we've done this before, but I wouldn't want to regularly do it like that, but you're going to hit up the lake tomorrow for some largemouth? Oh, very nice. Yeah, I think I'm going to work. We're going to film some stuff and edit and get as many flies tied and this and that over the weekend, and then during the week when it calms down, I'm gonna get back to trying to fish for some albies from shore. Because during the weekend it gets crazy from shore, especially once people have been posting photos and stuff with the background. Usually you see my photos. They're usually you can't see the background. Ideally, I'll try and edit them at least afterwards. The etiquette of not spot burning. Especially for this type of fishing, dude. I've seen it where somebody posted a photo and then like the next day, even like an hour later, there's like 20 trucks showing up. The Instagram brigade, you know what I mean? All right. What's going on, Liquid Fusion? It's like watching paint dry over here. I guess I gotta order a new bottle of this stuff. Should order it off Amazon. There we go. And while that's wet, let's go ahead and tie this. And it'll kind of merge with it slightly. We'll try and be a little bit sparser on the materials. And it's funny, I have two Winnin flashes here, and they almost like this silver breaks so much harder to get a clean break on the silver when you're ripping it, but the yellow rips so easy. So it's like very interesting. Even between the two materials that are the same, they're like different. I'll wrap this. Just add a little bit more. Again, we want trying to be sparser. Oh yeah, that's right. I want to make sure I cover the actual body. So we're gonna go with some lawn material in there. So we can actually maybe pull some of this out. That'll be fine. Just make sure we have some stuff to cover up the actual supreme hair on there. Gotta work on my mushmouths. It's been a while. I want to get my mushmouths looking nice and fancy. Gotta get the hang of it. Sometimes it takes a couple flies to get back in the groove, you know what I mean? It's been a while. I think it would look much nicer with the pearl with that white like that, but that's fine. It's a-okay. So go ahead and we'll tie again. I want to again keep it sparse. It was a little bit more than I wanted to in the last one, but I wanted to get the length. I want to make that too long. All right, well, I'm going to need a vacuum after the stream because there's angel hair like flying everywhere. Fine little pieces of angel hair everywhere. Kept this tie kind of sparse because I didn't want to add too much material as we're working our way up the hook shank, but still adding some profile, you know? We'll do like one more and then put the eyes on here. Yeah. Put some big old eyes on it. The way the mushmouth works, it doesn't really go like super all the way to the head. Definitely going to make sure we have enough material on this last tie to help kind of fill it up. Not be too bulky. And get some silver. I like it when I can just like rip it, not even have to cut it. The silver isn't really liking that, but it's interesting. They're both the same materials, but they're like kind of tearing differently, if you will. Probably because this is like a clear pearl and this is like a solid silver or something. Maybe it's the composition of what they used to make it. Who knows? Pull all the excess stuff off here. Make sure the hair is even on either side. Wrap it forward a little, and then we V-tie. I think we're actually gonna go all the way. Not all the way, but even more so. Come on, stop fighting me. You can see it's like cleaning itself. Yeah, there we go. This is looking more like a mushmouth to me. Build that head up at the front. Oh, I just jammed the hook in my finger. Definitely sharp. I will say these mustads are sharp with their new fancy finishes. Yo, Lima, what's up? Theodore, I haven't. That's a good thing. Thank you for reminding me. Let me order some inexpensive UV glues. I was actually going to. I tied 175 striper teasers, which were essentially giant surf candies, and I used my Solarez, and I went through like so much money in Solarez. I was like, I wonder if I should be tying these teasers with the Amazon resin. I wonder if I could tie regular flies with it. So that's a good point. I saw it the other day and I thought about it, but I didn't order it. So thank you for reminding me. I'm doing that after the stream ends, which we're going to end the stream here soon because we've almost been streaming 2 hours. And my back is already giving me issues. I've been sitting in the chair tying all day and this and that. So editing. It's been a long day. But thank you for reminding me. I want to do like a video comparing Solarez versus cheap resins. I don't know if that'll... If we find that it's virtually no difference, I don't think that means we'll ever get a Solarez sponsorship, but you know, that's okay. Definitely save money on resin. All right. Not that I've tried, but with how much Solarez I've bought and used over the years and how much I've promoted Solar or Solarise, I don't even know how to pronounce it. They're probably like, you're not even saying it right, asshole. Like owner of the company he's watching or something. But I've promoted this stuff so much over the years. I should be like an honorary, give me free jugs, like pump bottles of Solarez. You know what I mean? So many people have gotten into fly tying over the years, watching my stuff or just in person, this and that, or through Instagram, and have asked me, and I'm like, yeah, Solarez, dude. Because I've had issues with other resins. Resin has been the least amount of issues I've ever had. And when you're tying flies commercially and tying a lot of flies and tying, for instance, 200 surf candies, the last thing you want is for something to go wrong. So I've had another resin company, which was Loon I used. This was back in the day, in the early days of the resin too. So maybe that had something to do with it. But I had 50 surf candies, my first ever batch of surf candies to saltwaterflies.com, commercially tied, all turned yellow. And I'm like, what? I don't know if I heated them up too much with the light or whatever, but it's the same way I've been tying the flies forever. So, but I had to buy a loon resin instead of solar res, and I used that. And yeah, so that happened. So I had to retie 50 surf candies. No, no, nobody's we're sponsored, or we're not sponsored. We're part of the pro staff, I guess could say, of Squimpish Flies. That's pretty much just because like I've I was like testing the material before it even launched. You know what I mean? Shout out to David Nelson. It's not like because we're famous or something. We're definitely not famous. But no, nobody whatsoever in any capacity has wanted to do anything with me, so that's fine. Because I haven't reached out to any company or do anything. I'm like, you know what? We'll see what happens. Something will happen on its own. But I also am like, I would only work with companies that I like. You know, like that's the thing. I'm never gonna be like promoting something that I wouldn't use myself or don't like. So I have to be careful, right? Because I can't control myself. I'll be streaming one day and something will go wrong. I'll be like, this shit sucks. You know me. I have no qualms with calling out, uh, like a material or hooks for being crap. Like those Arexes, dude. Those Arex Bob Clousers. I love a lot of the Arex hooks, but the 2 odd Bob Clousers we bent 2 on stream. One tying a pop lip and one spinning ram's wool and one spinning deer hair. So, and let's say, for instance, if I was like sponsored by them, I couldn't be like, what the hell is wrong with this, dude? This is bullshit. You know? I couldn't give you my honest reaction of being absolutely pissed off that I just tied a fly for an hour on stream and then I bent at the last second the hook from packing the deer hair. So I do need to be careful with in the future, perhaps. I don't think we're there yet to where TFO is going to be sending me free stuff, but maybe in, another 5,000 subscribers or something on YouTube. That's why if you're not subscribed, subscribe on YouTube, all right? Please. So we can get free fly rods for me to break on stream. Not on purpose. It's just, I'll catch a cocktail bluefish and then the rod will explode. That's how it works. Yeah, I went on Jeff's boat. He's like, what the hell is that? And I'm like, I got my 11 weight. He's like, 11 weight? He's fishing like 8 weights and 7 weights for Albies. Like, because he's like a Gucci fly fisher. So he's fishing on a boat. He's got an 8 weight and the reel's screaming. He's like full bent, like, yeah, woo. Meanwhile, I'm like, I got an 11 weight or a switch rod. I'm going with the 11 weight. And fishing from shore too, I was like, there's no way. It reminded me you can't fish 8 weights from the rocks because I've seen multiple 8 weights blow up on the rocks in the past from Albies. Because when you are trying to land an Albie from the rocks and like the waves like catch the Albie and it runs away and your rod's bent, it just snaps like instantly. So it's nice having like a 9 or 10 weight, or even an 11 weight. Fishing on like really crazy water, like inlets where it's ripping super fast and it's kind of dangerous. That way you can like kind of manhandle the fish and you can have a better chance of landing it when you want to land it and not have like the waves sweep you out to sea, while you're trying to land the fish. Yeah, this is more like a mushmouth right here. This is better. This is what I think of when I think of mushmouths. Even still, probably not perfect. David Skoke has much nicer versions he's tied. But this is nice. It's tough, dude. That's a very common way to break fish. The other option is sticking your rod in the water, which you can do in certain places, like in the bay or in a certain river, right? Maybe not a super fast moving river, or you can't really do that at the inlet because the waves will just take your rod and chuck it into the rocks and break it. So it's very tough. You kind of have to like find the right angle to grab the leader and then slack up the line, right? But if the fish runs at that point, or if the tide recedes, or if you got a big rainbow trout that kind of runs, you can break a rod. That's why cocktail bluefish, you break a lot of rods, or at least I have in the past. I've seen my buddy Jeff break rods. I've seen so many people break rods on small bluefish because they're so powerful and they're so fast. You'll grab the leader and they go shooting away, and you're like holding your rod in an awkward angle, and the rod just snaps. So you got to be really careful with certain fish trying to land them, or just fish in general. And you want to hold it above the cork, right? You know, and then it's bent like crazy. So, all right. Not too bad. What did we tie? We tied a bonito bunny and surf candy, two mushmouths, but the one mushmouth's kind of, so. The surf candy is God knows where. Oh, we put it in the fly box. Yeah, that's right. I forgot. We got the old school vintage scientific anglers with the custom brown trout art from a elementary school version of me, middle school version. I don't think I'm actually going to fish with this because I feel like it's going to rust like crazy. But yeah, we got the. I'll show you. We'll give you the prime time view. I think what we're going to do is we're going to film a video for like essential Albie flies, and I'm going to use this box. It's not the prettiest box, but it's cool. It's got, this is like from the 90s. The scientific angler box. I've had this for a long time. It actually had a bunch of old, I'll show you real quick where, or that went somewhere. There's a bunch of trout flies, like small little trout flies that I had that somebody gave me a long time ago, back when I was a kid. But these are what we tied. A couple so. I like the last mushmouth came out better. I like it. But we got the surf candy, a couple mushmouths, and the classic, the bonito bunny. Yeah, I got a ton of flies. I could fill up this box pretty easily. So it's not even really made for it too, but it does fit. They don't bend or anything, which is nice. So we'll probably just fill up this side, essentially. Old school. Old school. Made in the U.S. too, which is... It's hard to find a cheap plastic fly box made in the U.S. nowadays. All right. Well, thank you so much for hanging out and watching, chat. We tied some Albie flies. We chit-chatted. And my throat is blown out. I don't know how I used to stream like for like 5-6 hours. I think I like slowly conditioned my voice, but I feel like my voice is already going after just for talking for 2 hours at a certain volume. I don't know. It's crazy. I don't know how I used to stream for like 12 hours and talk the whole time. It's because I feel like I stream I stream like 2-3 hours now, and it's like crazy. Oh shit! Did my YouTube? Okay, we're still live, right? Yeah, okay. I like close my browser. Luckily, that doesn't do it. All right, chat. Well, thank you so much for hanging out and watching. I hope you folks have an awesome weekend. I'm going to be getting a lot of work done. I got to film probably Sunday. I think Sunday morning I'm going to try and have a video out. We'll see. Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm going to try and film either tonight or tomorrow morning. Tomorrow afternoon, we're filming a Conflict 47 game, so for the second channel. But I gotta film this Albie box video, and then I want to film an Albie Ho video for the next 2 videos for the channel. So it'll probably be Sunday will be the Albie Ho video, and then Tuesday or Thursday will be the Albie fly box video. And then I want to try and get a fishing for Albies video. One for boats and one for fishing from shore. So, yeah. So we'll see. But thank you so much for watching. Paul Bridgers, Lima, Theodore. Oh, thank you for reminding me too. Let me write this down. The cheap resin. So cheap resin and liquid fusion I need from Amazon. Usually I'd buy most of my time materials from like saltwaterflies.com. This is sort of stuff is like generic craft supplies. So, but all right, chat. Thank you so much for hanging out. Hope you folks have an awesome night and you take it easy.